Yeah, everybody, we're racing at Portimao. Tree Monkey Page leads into turn 1 ahead of Mark Bow. Looks like M Morph there in 3rd place. Bennett LCFC qualifying a bit down the grid this time around. He's way up into 4th place there around the outside of Derby Bay. Derby Bay down to 5th place as we can see Malky getting ahead of Horatio there. As we got Horatio in 8th place, San Paul Cod, So Viper and Danny Din at the back of the field in P13. But we've got Tree Monkey Page leading by 0.2 of a second here on his first lap, having put it on pole position. Mark Bow absolutely hounding and hassling the back of him though as they're coming through this middle section of the lap. M Morph on the back of these as we see there. Mark Bow very wide and M Morph swoops up the inside up into 2nd place there. But is he going to come back at him here? Looks like Mark Bow is able to come straight back at M Morph there and gets himself back up into P2. Bennett there just behind in 4th. Is Mike working? Bennett, is that just... Yeah, it is. But Bennett there trying to keep Derby Bay behind him. He's now looking to around the outside here of Enmore. Andrew Pittsmith has joined the race, but he's joined too late. He's not going to be able to take part in this race. What a shame there for Andrew Pittsmith. But Tree Monkey Page has already opened up a bit of a lead here at the front. 2.6 seconds he's got over Mark Bow. Mark Bow still has got his hands full of Enmore. And as Enmore now flat out around this last corner, goes a little bit wide there, but looks like Mark Bow's coming into the pits, is he? Strange one there, coming into the pits at the end of lap 1, a 33 lap race, but he's in very early on. As we see there, Enmore and Bennett just behind him. Derby Bay running just behind this trio battling over 2nd place, with Tree Monkey Page absolutely running off into the distance in the early stages of this race. Stand there in 5th with Soph just behind him in P6, 1.3 seconds behind. You got Paul Cod there sat in 7th place, got half a second back to Viper at the moment. Mark Bow, Karts, Malky, Horatio and Danny Din all in the pits here at the moment, but Tree Monkey Page out in front doing a business, doing what he has to do, and getting a strong opening lap after that, getting that pole position there in the qualifying session. I think I'm about to sneeze, I don't know. No, it's gone away. But Tree Monkey Page at the moment leading by 2.8 seconds ahead of M Morph, and Bennett LCFC really putting this pressure on him right now as he's trying to find a way through up into 2nd place if he can. Bennett, obviously the reigning champion of the OG League, winner of the first round of the season last week, and looking pretty strong this time around as well. See Soph really on the back of San right now, 0.8 of a second between those two. Horatio within 0.6 of Malky at this point. Look at this, Derby Bay is pretty close to the back of Bennett, but no DRS here at the beginning of lap 3. It's only at the end of lap 3 that the DRS is enabled. See there, Malky and Horatio separated by about 0.2 of a second right now as they're coming out onto the start finish. And now look at this, Horatio's got a lovely run here coming down the start finish straight up towards turn 1. I think Horatio's going to get this one done on Malky here. Relatively routine stuff. The Ferrari getting ahead of the Aston Martin up into 11th place. Bennett's got himself in 2nd place. He's still just behind him. What's happened to Tree Monkey Page? That's where he was in the lead just now. What has happened? Oh no! What a shame there for Tree Monkey Page. He was making a break for it out the front. He had a comfortable lead. No way! It looks to me like he must have made a mistake coming through the first few corners of the lap, and he's now down in 4th place. He's now almost 10 seconds off the lead, so he's got work to do, but we know he's got the pace here tonight for sure. But wow, that is really unfortunate there for Tree Monkey Page, as he's now got his work cut out here in this one. Enmore fleets by 1.2. Bennett still can't shake off Derby Bay. Bennett LCFC, for once, not the quickest man out on track in this OG League. He's got Derby Bay really close on him at the moment. Derby Bay still can't find a way through at this point in the race. Malky's within 0.8 of a second of Horatio as they're coming down the start finish straight here to complete their 3rd laps of the race. Danny Din running a few seconds behind Horatio and Malky, running in 13th place at the moment, 8 seconds off of them. We've still got Enmore and Bennett separated by 1.7 seconds at the moment. Just looking down the order there, it looks as though Viper and Sofa swap positions there. So the two McLarens clearly having a changeover. Viper's up into P6, Sofa down to 7th. Didn't really see what happened there. Derby Bay still running in 3rd, just behind Bennett. 2 tenths between those two. Still Derby Bay unable to find a way through ahead of Bennett. Bennett's been holding him up for a few laps. These two dropping off a little bit off of Morph over these last few laps. Obviously Tree Monkey Page, who started on pole and had the best of the opening couple of laps, now down in P4, but he is clearly quicker than the leaders. He's closing them by quite a bit. He's now almost within 6 seconds of Bennett and Derby Bay. Now Derby Bay is very close to Bennett. We'll have DRS down the start finish straight. Looks to the inside into turn 1. Derby Bay gets himself up into 2nd place. Bennett loses out there as he was on the outside there. Derby Bay had that one done relatively easily and can now try and chase down the race leader Morph. Bennett, as we know, didn't get the win in the OG, and not the OG, the realistic league last week, which obviously runs the car performance equal to what you'd see in the 2021 season. So Bennett driving in Alfa Romeo in that one wasn't the quickest last week at Mexico. Wasn't able to cover it this week on Monday night. I don't know actually what the result was, as I wasn't here, so I don't know what happened on the Monday night for the realistic league, but Bennett tends to be the quickest in this OG league. All cars are equal performance, so it's pretty much just down on driver ability. That was a hiccup, but yeah, I don't know, it's just this week, just for some reason Portimao just doesn't seem to be a strong track for Bennett. Maybe it's a weakness for him, who knows. It's not a track that Formula 1 has ever had. It's not a track we've ever seen on the Formula 1 game before. This is the first time that Portimao has ever been on a Formula 1 game, so this could be a big factor actually in why Bennett's struggling here. Maybe it's just because he's not used to this track. Maybe he hasn't done it before, who knows. But Morph clearly has done the work, put in the practice over the course of this week, and leads this race by 2.4. Bennett's still sticking to the back of Derby at the moment, only 7 tenths between those two. Soph dropping off at the back of Viper. Teammates now in P6 and pulling away, and we've got Mark Bow, who had a strong qualifying, now down in 8th place, coming into the pits at the end of the first lap for some reason, don't know why, but he's within 6 tenths of a second of Soph and trying to put the pressure on and get himself up into P7 if he can. Malky there's running on the back of Horatio right now, just less than 2 tenths of a second in towards turn 1, but still Malky a little bit too far back to get that move done into the first corner for now. 7 laps into a 33 lap race. Morph looking very good out the front, but we know that Tree Monkey Page has got pace and he's currently running in 4th place. Looks like actually the last couple of laps Derby Bay and Bennett have pulled away a little bit from Tree Monkey Page. So Tree Monkey Page, I thought he was closing the gap back to them over the last few laps, but seems to have just dropped off on this particular lap. Obviously was on pole, made that mistake, dropped down to 4th. Since then he's only really reeled that gap down, but on this lap he seems to have taken a step back. And is he coming into the pits? He just looked like he was taking a bit of a tighter line. Yes, he is. He's coming in here at the end of lap 7, so that's Tree Monkey Page in. Obviously started on the soft tyres. Let's grab that little tyre graphic up, which gives us a lot more information on what has occurred out on the track. So Tree Monkey Page is coming into his box. He'll slow the car down to hopefully 0 miles an hour for his front jackman's sake, and he'll get it going once again, and looks like he's going to emerge in a comfortable P5. So that pushes Sam up into 4th place. Viper a long way behind there. Well, actually not that far behind, to be fair. He's coming down the start finish straight with Mark Bow in tow. Mark Bow's got ahead of Soph up into 7th, and Mark Bow now focusing his attention here on Viper as he's looking to the outside and towards turn 3. But for the time being, Viper holding on to that one by the skin of his teeth, looking like this is a really exciting battle though between these two, as they're kind of just got Soph in tow now, sticking to the back of them. Mark Bow on the hard tyres. I wonder how far he can go into this race. Probably will need to make another pit stop, maybe put a set of softs on for the end of the race. And oh no, what's happened there? Well, it looked as though Mark Bow was going to lose out there, as he was well, Viper manages to squeeze back through, but Mark Bow looked like he'd almost got that move done there on Viper. Viper though fighting back, these now gapping Soph a little bit, 8 tenths of a second behind these two. Bennett still on the back of Derby Bay despite having been overtaken by Derby Bay a few laps ago. Derby Bay hasn't been able to make any inroads on the race leader Morph, and Bennett still hassling him. Mark Bow within basically 2 tenths of a second here of Viper, looking to the inside down the end of the back straight. Can he get it done? No, not quite. That's not the back straight, sorry, that's the penultimate corner. or third to last corner, as this last corner is technically 2 corners. It's like a double apex type thing, you know what I mean. But Viper coming in here at the end of lap 8, so that's going to allow Mark Bow to continue on his way. Soph there running in 7th place, 7/10 behind him at the moment. There's Karts running in 8th, 2 seconds behind him. Malky, Horatio going down the start finish straight up into 9th and 10th respectively, as Viper has stopped in the box and is off and on his way once again. Enmorph still leads by 3.5 seconds over Derby Bay at this point. Bennett there running in 3rd, 6/10 behind him. What is going to happen here in this race? It's looking like it's going to be plenty of drama out on track right now. Horatio looking pretty close on the back of Malky, 1.2 between those two. Bennett still can't find a way through, back ahead of Derby Bay. We'll have DRS here coming down the final corner. Look like he got good drive actually out onto the start finish straight, but I think it's a little bit too far back to be able to go for the move coming up towards turn 1. DRS aided, not to any avail though. Really needs to be within about 3/10 to be able to make that DRS work into an overtake. I think if you're not within 3/10, it's not going to be enough. Maybe 4 with a bit of a toe might get you to where you need to be, I don't know. But at the moment, Derby Bay still has just got just enough to keep Bennett at bay, as these two are continuing to lose time all the time to Enmorph, who's continuing to lead this race out the front. And Tree Monkey Page there has done the fastest lap of the race from P5, obviously on relatively fresh medium tyres. Can probably go to, I'd say, probably try and go to about lap 24, 25. Maybe put the soft tyres on for the final stint of the race. I would imagine that'd probably be the obvious strategy to go for if you're Tree Monkey Page. He's got San 4.5 seconds up the road, and then after that he's got 25 seconds of clear track in front of him. So Tree Monkey Page just has to negotiate San, and then he will have pretty much the next 15 laps to himself. Although obviously Enmorph, Derby Bay and Bennett will be coming in at some point. And who's that? Somebody's lost it by the side of the track. That's Paul Codd there, who was sideways, and he's going to have Mark Bow coming up on him soon if Mark Bow there gets his way through. And Bennett's ahead of Derby Bay. Derby Bay's in the pits, that's why. Derby Bay pits at the end of lap 10, as Bennett's going to extend the stint. One thing very, very crucial and important to note is that Derby Bay was on the softs, so that would have given him an advantage over Bennett. That it gives Bennett a little bit of a strategic wild card here, because Bennett obviously running on those on the mediums will be able to go longer into the stint. But even so, with Enmorph leading this race on those, also on the mediums, those two on exactly the same strategy, Bennett LCFC has got work to do here tonight. He's not by far the quickest driver out there. Enmorph clearly, I'd say certainly a match for him at this point. And this could go either way between these two at this point, but Enmorph leads here on lap 11 of 33, a third race distance here for round 2 of the OG League here at Excel F1 on a Wednesday night. As we just see there, Soph is retired from the race, so I don't know what's happened there, but that's pulled out the safety car here. So safety car is out at the end of lap 11, and Bennett LCFC straight into the pits. Did not need a second invitation there. Straight in the pits here at the end of lap 11. What's he going to put on? He's going to put the hards on maybe. It would definitely be a very Bennett-like strategy to do that. And what has he got on? He's got the mediums on. So he's got another set of mediums on. And I would imagine he's probably going to go towards the end of the race, and then he's going to put maybe the soft on for the final couple of laps, unless he's banking on another safety car. It's difficult to know at this point, to be fair. I wonder what he's going to do from there. That could be an interesting one, as we see San into the pits as well. I imagine that pretty much everybody is going to come into the pits here. Mark Bow's coming in, Karts is also coming in, Malky's coming out of the last corner. Does he come in? Yes, he does. Horatio staying out. So Horatio opting for track position here. That's going to be quite key, isn't it? So Horatio jumping the lot of them up into 5th. And obviously on the hard tyres, he can afford to do that. And maybe, just maybe, with a bit of tyre saving during the safety car period, he might be able to put the soft on at the end and really outpace the guys in front of him. This could be a real masterstroke here from Horatio. As we'll have to see how it pans out. But lap 12 or 20 or 33, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this very short break. We're just going to catch our breath, and then we'll be back on for the restart. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go for the restart here for lap 16 of the XLF1 League OG League here on a Wednesday night here, round 2 at Portimao, and Enmore puts his foot to the floor. We are racing once again. Bennett LCFC following him down the start finish straight, half a second between those two. Commentator there running in third place there with Derby Bay just behind him, as we can just see there. Horatio trying to make a move here on Derby Bay up towards turn 1, but tucks in behind for the time being. San there in the background, but Horatio having another look to the inside into turn 3. Still can't get it on. San in 6th. There's Mark Bocart's Viper. Malky there in the top 10 spot, as we see Viper looking to the inside here of Malky. Sorry, not Malky. He's trying to put a lap there on somebody. Paul Codd there. He's trying to put a lap on. No, not Paul Codd. Danny Din. And Viper puts that lap on Danny Din and gets himself ahead of Danny Din, as we've got Enmore leading this race, still ahead of the Bennett LCFC. Tree Monkey Page there running in third place, currently 6 tenths off at the back of Bennett LCFC. Derby Bay and Horatio straight into the back of this lead pack, and then it's a bit of a gap back to Stan, who's a second further back in 6th, with Mark Bow and Carts all over the back of him. So about half the way through the race here for the XLF1 League round 2 for the OG League. Enmore from Bennett 4 tenths apart, and Malky's just jumped back into the session. Obviously they got disconnected there on that restart, but back in the race once again. But Enmore currently leads Bennett by 4 tenths. Bennett sticking to the back. These two both on very similar strategies, both on relatively fresh medium tyres. With the laps that they did under safety car, it means that they'll definitely have a lot more life in them than they usually would after 4 or 5 laps, owing to the fact that most of it has been at non-racing speeds. Double wave Joe Thags, who's sector 3, not sure why. Is it Paul Codd? I'm not sure. Some sort of incident, but we'll keep an eye on this lead battle. Enmore, Bennett, Tree Monkey Page, Derby Bay separated by about 2 seconds. The front 4, they've got Horatio now by a little bit. Horatio running in 5th place with San in 6th. And oh no, there's been a collision there. Oh, a Mercedes is round. What's going on there? Carts is off onto the runoff. Looks like he's been tagged around a little bit. Malky moves up into 9th place. Carts done an absolute nightmare there. As back to the leaders, Enmore still has the gap, but what a shame there for Carts, down to P10 here in this race on lap 18 of 33. Derby Bay still kind of just clinging to the back of Tree Monkey Page, but it's pretty close up here at the front, as Enmore now has almost got about a second here to Bennett LCFC, so he'll be pretty happy to have pulled out that gap to a reasonably comfortable cushion here. Derby Bay 8 tenths of a second behind Tree Monkey Page at the moment. 3.5 seconds back to just Horatio running in 5th place, with San just a second back in 6th. As we can see, San trying to hound and hassle Horatio. Can he get the run maybe coming out onto the start finish straight? He pulls out to the right hand side. No DRS on this lap. It'll be enabled on the next lap. Race control is letting us know that DRS will be enabled on this coming lap. But here we come down the start finish straight, and San does not, Mark Bow does not need DRS there. He manages to get ahead of San without the DRS, beautifully up into P6. Enmorph's already gapped Bennett a little bit, just over a second between those two, so Enmorph currently looking like he's in cruise control here in this race. Quickest man out there so far at Portimao here for the second round of the XLF1 League here. Bennett LCFC and Tree Monkey Page still sticking to the back though. Derby Bay not too far behind, as we see Carts and Danny Dim both in the pits here at the end of lap 18.
Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go for the restart here
just
for
turn
lap 16.
that off now, but Enmore still has the lead. Bennett still keeping him very much within striking distance at the moment. I wonder if these front two are going to be trying to go to the end on those medium tyres that they put on, because thinking about the fact that there was a safety car which almost lasted about 4 or 5 laps, I think it was, it means that the 19 lap stint that they would have had to do will now be a 15 or 16 lap stint, which is actually very much doable on the medium tyres. I think Enmore and Bennett are probably going to try and go to the end. It's about who looks after those tyres better. Bennett's tyres are a lap older, but in the grand scheme of things it's not going to make too much of a difference unless they hit the cliff or something. But at this point in the race, it's looking like Bennett could be more than capable of taking this fight to Enmore, as we see Tree Monkey Page a bit dropping off the back of the front two a little bit, as still at Derby Bay within half a second of him. Tree Monkey Page though has done a much longer stint on these medium tyres than Derby Bay has. In fact, much longer than either of the front two have done. He had only put his tyres on a few laps before the safety car, But I think that Tree Monkey Page has missed a trick there by not coming in under the safety car. So he's going to have to come in and put the soft on again. What Tree Monkey Page needs now is another safety car. He really does need another safety car to bring himself into this fight for the win, I feel. As M-Morph still leads Bennett by 9/10 of a second here. Lap 20 of 33. Currently these two gladiators dicing it out. As Tree Monkey Page still keeping Derby Bay behind him. The rest of the battle's kind of just petering out a little bit. Danny Din's up into the 11th place there, up the inside of Paul Codd. Beautifully done there, Danny, over the back straight. Oh, but Danny's gone wide. And still holds onto the position ahead of Paul. But we got M-Morph and Bennett. Oh! No, it's not M-Morph and Bennett. I do apologise. Oh, no. Paul Codd's around. After that incident there with Danny Din. Oh, what a shame there for Paul Codd. Drops well off of the back of Danny Din there. And he's going to have to go again and regroup there because Paul Codd's had an absolute nightmare. In the meantime, M-Morph and Bennett separated by 8/10. Derby Bay within 2/10 of a second of Tree Monkey Page now. Derby Bay really wants this podium spot. It's been a solid start to Derby Bay's record in the Tier 1s for the OGs here at XL. We'll be hoping to take another podium here tonight for sure. As we see, M-Morph has gapped Bennett by a little bit now, just over a second between those two. Tree Monkey Page still just ahead of Derby Bay. The rest of the gaps out there at the moment kind of just extending by a little bit. Lap 21 of 33, 12 laps left here at Portimao. As we see Derby Bay within 3/10 of a second of Tree Monkey Page. Double waved yellows through sector 3 as we see Tree Monkey Page diving into the pits. What's happened here? Now we've got double waved yellows between sector 1 and sector 2. I'm not sure who, to be honest. Doesn't seem like there's any instance. It doesn't seem like there's any live situations. Oh, it's Bennett. Bennett's just triggered the double waved yellows in sector 1. He's had a moment there coming through the first sector, and oh my goodness me. The winner of the first race of the season and the reigning champion of the XLF1 League has had a big moment there. And could that have cost him the race win? Could it have even knocked him off the podium? It's knocked off the podium for now. Obviously, Mark Bowe's just got ahead of him. Tree Monkey Page, though, will come back into this towards the end. As Tree Monkey Page has obviously got the softs on, but having said that, he's going to try and do a 12-lap stint on the soft. And it's Karts who triggered the double wave yellows through sector 3 because he's lost his front wing. So he's going to need to come in and get that sorted. He's going to need to put a new front wing on the front of that Mercedes car. But Bennett close on the back of Mark Bowe right now, 7/10 of a second between these two. As Bennett's trying to get back onto Mark Bowe if he can, but at the moment Mark Bowe's got that final podium spot in his grasp. Karts is coming into the pits at the end of lap 22 with 11 laps left to go here in this race. And Moff though still leads this race by 3.5 seconds and a further 6.5 seconds back to Mark Bowe, who's got Bennett very much in close contention here. He's really trying to put the pressure on coming down the start finish straight to complete the 22nd lap of the race. 11 laps left to go. But at this point, Bennett looks like he's really played himself off of the podium with that little mistake coming through sector 1 on the previous lap. Looks like he's not had any such problems coming through the same part of the track this time around, though. But we see Cart there coming out of the pits there in P10 in this race, just ahead of somebody who's lapping him. So is that I don't know, but Enmore still leads by 4 seconds right now ahead of Derby Bay, and Bennett's still looking to try and find a way through ahead of Mark Bowe at the moment, but still can't do it. There's Malky within 1/10 of a second of Tree Monkey Page right now. But obviously Tree Monkey Page has been in. I think Tree Monkey Page has actually just got ahead of him there, up into 8. So Tree Monkey Page will now be looking to try and pull away, trying to close the gap to the leaders. Obviously the front runners, Enmore, Derby Bay and Bennett and Mark Bowe are all going to have to go a very long stint on their medium tyres. So that could bring Tree Monkey Page back into it in the closing stages. He's only about 25 seconds off for the lead but I don't think he's going to have enough pace to close that gap unless the medium tyre runners fall off the cliff. As we see Horatio coming over the start, coming into turn 1, running in 4th place, will be able to put the soft tyres on for the final stint of the race. Could really do with a safety car, to be honest, to put the softs on for that final stint, but at the moment still going. Bennett's coming into the pits and put the softs on. Is he banking on a safety car maybe? The reigning champion could be banking on a safety car being deployed in the closing stage of this race, and maybe that might give him a lifeline here, but whatever it is, we're not used to seeing Bennett down in P9 in any race. He always seems to get the rubber to green, tends to be the luckiest driver in history here at Excel. Things always seem to fall into place. Just when you think he's not going to win for once, basically the stars align for him and he ends up taking the win. So at the moment he's in 9th place. It looks like it's a bit of a horror show for him tonight, but you never know what might happen in the final closing stages of the race. But at the moment it doesn't look like there's going to be any safety cars for the time being. It looks like we're going to have a clean finish to this race as Horatio just puts a lap on some traffic there. He's coming out of the final corner. Does he come into the pits at the end of this lap, or is he going to continue to extend this stint? He's staying out for the time being. Doesn't pull the trigger just yet. When's he going to do it though? That's the big question. Viper running within 7/10 of a second of San right now, down the start finish straight in towards turn 1. True Monkey Page has done the fastest lap of the race, first driver into the 118s throughout the course of this race. Bennett's just got ahead of Malky as Malky's into the pits. But Enmorph out in front still in this race. He's got just over 5 seconds to Derby Bay. Enmorph's been the class of the field in this race tonight. Bennett at points has been able to stick with him, but Enmorph has just had such consistency out the front. Derby Bay doing a good job there in P2. Still yet to take his first win, I think, here at Excel. Always up there or thereabouts, but hasn't taken a win yet. But running in P2 at the moment. There's Mark Bow running in the final podium spot. 8 seconds further back to Horatio running in 4th place. Viper there in P5 has got San really pressure in the back of him right now. That's Jimmy Page in the background bringing himself into this battle here. You can see Viper managed to gap San a little bit through that series of corners, but Tree Monkey Page now all over the back of San. As let's jump on board with Tree Monkey Page and see what he's seeing. Down the start finish straight they come. He looks to the inside. San leaves a gap on the inside as you can't really cover it off down the straight. It's too wide, but Tree Monkey Page looks like he's going to have that one done into turn 1. And yes, he does, up into P6 there. But Tree Monkey Page obviously on fresh soft tyres. He's going to be looking to try and gain as many positions as he can in these final few laps. He'll have extreme pace advantages over these drivers in front of him. I'm sure he's going to be targeting at least P4 in this race, if not more. As he's now on the back of Viper, and this should be pretty much a routine move here for Tree Monkey Page. Viper ever so wide coming through that part of the track, but Tree Monkey Page for the time being still can't find a way through ahead of him. But I'm sure the opportunity will present itself pretty soon. As Enmorph into the pits at the end of lap 26. And Tree Monkey Page still can't find a way through ahead of Viper at the moment, but he's still probing and pushing. So Derby Bay temporarily leads this race, but that will change most likely. Although having said that, you know, I wonder if Derby Bay is going to try and stretch this out. And maybe try and go to the end. It's a heavy tyre deck circuit, it's Portimao, and it's also the track temperature is pretty high, so I wonder if Derby Bay is going to try and stretch this all the way to the end, try and put a strategic master stroke. Enmorph has come out not too far off with them actually. He's only about 16 seconds behind Derby Bay. This could be an interesting split strategy here. Basically, right, so Enmorph is, if Derby Bay wasn't to pit, Enmorph would have to go about 2.2 seconds a lap quicker. So the soft tyres are typically about half a second to 0.6 of a second quicker than the mediums, and obviously you lose about a tenth of a second per lap that you do on the tyres until they fall off the cliff, at which case you start losing seconds a lap because they're down to the canvas. But I say that Derby Bay loses 1.5 seconds to Enmorph just down to tyre deg, and then obviously you factor in another half a second down to the fact that he's on mediums compared to Enmorph on the softs. I would say that he's probably going to be losing about 2 seconds a lap to Enmorph. But having said that, 14.5 seconds over 6 laps, I mean, he's still going to fall short by a couple of seconds unless he hits that cliff, unless those medium tyres fall off completely in the final couple of laps, which they might do after 20 laps. So I reckon it's a big risk from Derby Bay to stay out, but I wonder whether or not this risk is going to come off and it's going to give him the win of the race. As we see somebody spun off there in the background, that was a Red Bull there, I think, getting all over the place. Yeah, it was. Paul Codd there, getting out of shape. Oh, he's all over the place there. But Derby Bay still has the lead by 8 seconds over Mark Bowe. Mark Bowe in a similar position to Derby Bay has done one less lap on these mediums. Both of these two looking to go a very long stint on these tyres. And Enmorph has brought the gap down by a lot over the course of this lap. He's brought it down by about a second and a half just on this lap so far. We're not even at the end of the lap yet. Well, Derby Bay is. He's just coming over the line to complete lap 28 onto lap 29. As we've got 5 laps left to go here at Portimao. And the gap between Derby Bay and Enmorph, 12.5 seconds. Mark Bowe just under 10 seconds off from the lead of Derby Bay at this point. Enmorph does the fastest lap of the race. But question is, has he given himself too much to do? As Derby Bay's tyres are wearing out, but Enmorph on fresh soft has got a big gap to try and overhaul here. Is this tyre change going to pay off? Bennett's running 16 seconds behind Enmorph, so maybe his run of podiums is going to come to an end here. The champion of the XLF1 League, OG League, looks like he might be falling short here tonight. Double waved yellows through sector 1. Not sure what they're about. But we can see here that Tree Monkey Page is back on Viper's tail. Still hasn't been able to find a way through, despite the fact that he's on soft tyres and they're much fresher than Viper's hards. Tree Monkey Page has struggled here to clear Viper. It's really not been the plain sailing that I thought it would be for him. Enmorph's on the back of Mark Bowe. Obviously Mark Bowe is just a stepping stone to bigger and better things, because Enmorph's probably chasing the win here with Derby Bay leading this race. But coming to the end of lap 29, 4 laps left to go. He'll be getting the DRS coming down here, and I'm pretty sure he will be dispatching Mark Bowe coming into turn 1. As here we go, pulls out to the right hand side now, up the inside into turn 1. Easy pickings there for Enmorph up into second place. He's got 4 laps now to try and chase down Derby Bay. The gap 10 seconds. He's on 16 lap pressure, soft tyres. He doesn't need to worry about them wearing out. They've only got to do 4 more laps. They're only on 3 laps on them so far. He will easily be able to take everything out of these soft tyres and still get to the finish and still have them perfectly intact. So Enmorph has to do 4 qualifying laps from here on in and try and take 2.5 seconds per lap out of Derby Bay, as Derby Bay's very worn out medium tyres are still going somehow, but they're going to have little to no tread by the time we get to the end of this race. The question is, are they going to completely go by the time we get to the end? You can see the flat spots on those tyres. They are really starting to struggle. But Enmorph on relatively fresh soft tyres, really pushing it. He's got 2 seconds back to Mark Bowe at this point. Viper and Horatio, the only drivers tonight to have picked up penalties. As we can see here, Tree Monkey Page is now ahead of Viper. It is now onto the back of San. He's looking to try and get himself ahead if he can. San, though, holding on for this P5 grimly. Tree Monkey Page having a little look to the inside in towards that right-hander, that double apex right-hander. He's going to need to try and throw caution to the wind here pretty shortly and try and send one to get this done up into P5. I'd say that this is probably the summit of Tree Monkey Page's ambitions here, as he's looking to the outside in towards the double right-hander to finish the lap. Can he get the run out of the final corner? If he can probably get the DRS and get himself up into P5. Enmorph has now got the gap down to 8 seconds to Derby Bay, but I think Derby Bay might just have enough of a gap here at the end. It's going to be so close for the lead here. San, though, has been passed by Tree Monkey Page, and Tree Monkey Page is up into 5th place. The gap at the front, 7.9. I think Derby Bay may just be able to limp home unless those medium tyres completely fall off the cliff in the final couple of laps. Enmorth is not going to get there. It's not going to be enough for him. He's closed in a lot since getting ahead of Enmorth, but I think it might just be a day late and a dollar short, and maybe that decision to put the soft tyres on, make that pit stop, may turn out to be a bit of a disastrous call. Derby Bay is going to be on a knife edge though by the end of this race. We know that is 100% guaranteed. Enmorth has got 7 seconds to make up over 2 laps. He's going to need to lap 3.5 seconds faster per lap, and that's just to catch up. That's not even factoring in the fact that he's got to get past him as well. Derby Bay somehow keeping life in these medium tyres. How has he managed to do this? What a drive. Such an impressive performance tonight from Derby Bay. Enmorth's gained a little bit coming through the first sector, but not enough, nowhere near enough to win this race. As we see Horatio's on the back of Viper now, coming out of the last corner out onto the start finish, and he's going to get the DRS here now. Is Viper, can he get ahead of San? He does. And Horatio is now on the back of his teammates. So Viper did have pressure from Horatio. He's now got ahead of Horatio's teammate San, and San's now got his arms full of Horatio. So Horatio down the inside. Ferrari team orders maybe taking an effect there, and Horatio can now try and chase down Viper for that 6th place as San goes a little bit wide out of that corner. Derby Bay's gap to Enmorth 6 seconds, so it's only come down by about a second and a bit over the course of this lap. Nowhere near what Enmorth needs to win this race, and he'll need Derby Bay's tyres to absolutely fall off at the end of this race if he is to take the win. I think Derby Bay's got this one, as Horatio has got himself ahead of Viper up into 6th. I think, is he going to complete that move? Yep, he has done. And San's now on the back of Viper, looking to try and get himself up into 7th place as well after losing out a few moments ago. Derby Bay though has got half a lap left to go here at Portimao for the Portuguese Grand Prix here at XLF1. Not far to go now. Derby Bay's done an inspired job here, managing to get these medium tyres to go 22 laps, albeit he did have a safety car period to help him out a little bit, but he's nursed those for such a long time. The gap at the end of lap 29 was 10 seconds, and I thought to myself, Enmorth's going to have to push it like crazy to pull that in. He's got it down to under 5 seconds. It's now just over 4 seconds between the two of them. Enmorth has gained 6 seconds over these last 4 laps, but ultimately he needed to gain around 10 seconds to get this win. Derby Bay is going to be, I think, the first win here in XL OG League for Derby Bay out of the final corner in the Alfa Romeo here at Portimao. What a drive from Derby Bay. Stayed out on the medium tyres, got them all the way to the flag. He takes the checkered flag to take the win. Derby Bay, what a drive. Enmorth takes 2nd place here in this race. Couldn't quite get there. Maybe a couple more laps and he would have had Derby Bay, as Derby Bay's tyres would have been down to the canvas. But Derby Bay just about gets it over the line. Mark Bowe takes the final podium spot. Good drive from him. Bennett LCFC, a real strange one, seeing this man down in 4th place, not even on the podium, let alone not getting the win. Clearly a bogey track for Bennett. Comes home in 4th place. Tree Monkey Page out of the last corner. It's going to be a 5th place finish here for Tree Monkey Page in the Ferrari as he takes the checkered flag. Horatio is going to come up towards the line, and it's going to be a 6th place finish for him. There he is. A Viper out of the last corner is going to finish this one in P7, just a second ahead of San in 8th, but San gets the position ahead of Viper, and so does Malky. So those two leapfrog Viper in the classification due to Viper's penalty. Danny Din coming in towards the final few corners, and it's going to be a 10th place finish here. I think a solitary point for Danny, but I'm sure that will be a decent result, all things considered. Points mean prizes, even if it's a point. Still means a prize, I think. But Paul Codd will finish just behind, but Danny Din comes over the line to take 10th place, and that is in fact it, because Paul Codd's a lap down. So that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for the XLF1 League Round 2 here on a Wednesday night. What a brilliant drive that was from Enmorth, but even better obviously from the race winner. Well done to Derby Bay on taking what I think is his first win here at XL. Congratulations, made the strategy work, got those medium tyres to go all the way to the flag. I did say I think that a couple more laps and Morph would have had him, but ultimately Derby Bay managed to judge that to perfection and gets the reward for it. Derby Bay, your winner, Morph in second. So well done to those two on a great little battle all the way to the end of the race. And Mark Bow completing the podium, Bennett LCFC the champion, the perennial winner here at Excel. Unfortunately for him, not on the podium this time out, but I'm sure he'll be back fighting next time out. Street Monkey Page finishes in 5th. The pole sitter in the end had a bit of a hit and miss race. Horatio 6th, followed by San in 7th, then Malky 8th, Viper in 9th, had Danny Din in 10th. Then Carts in 11th place, Paul Cod 12th, and Soph completing the classification in 13th place. Thank you everybody for joining us here on the Motor Racing News channel. Be sure to join the XLF1 League in the description down below. Obviously those watching at Excel, thank you for watching back the race. Those who are racing in this race, share it with your friends. Get the leagues out there, get Excel and Motive on the map on the F1 game. Obviously we're both pushing each other to try and expand our audiences here, so if you enjoyed the video guys, share this with your friends and family, and let's try and bring this to a wider audience if we can. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.